Thank you so much for your time being with us in our YouTube channel. Where are you from?
We're from Canada.
Canada. Which part or which city?
Toronto.
Toronto. And is this your first time in Japan? Or?
Probably sixth time.
Wow.
And I've lived in Japan for 2 years.
So now, but you're in traveling as a tourist here, or you live
My mom
here?
is visiting me, and I live in Japan.
Oh, you live. So you've been living 2 years, you said?
That's right.
In Osaka?
In Tokyo.
Oh, in Tokyo. And so you work here then?
I work here, yes.
Can I ask what kind of business or
Consulting firm
consulting?
for finance. Finance services.
First, he went to the University of Tokyo.
Oh, you studied there?
I did a Master's of Engineering in University of Tokyo.
Oh, I
And
see.
now I work in finance.
Okay. The first time, how did you get interested in Japan then?
So a close family member of ours used to work in Japan during the bubble period.
Oh.
And we sometimes got influences from him. And also my grandfather, after World War II, spent some time in Japan during the occupation. So in our house home in Canada, we had some paintings that he drew and some of the souvenirs he brought back after World War II. So it's always been influenced.
From Japan. This is your first time?
No, this is my fifth time.
Oh, fifth?
Yeah,
Oh,
the first
still-
time we came was 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
But now that he lives here, this is my third visit since he's been living here.
How do you like it in Japan?
I like it very much. I find it very safe. It's very clean. The people are very kind.
Like each time you feel the different way?
I
Yes.
think Japan's evolved a lot over time as well.
Uh-huh.
I think when we first came about 10 years ago,
Right.
there wasn't a lot of tourism. And I think Japan is becoming a much more popular destination for tourists. And I think destinations like Osaka Castle are becoming kind of overflowing with tourists now. So it's not as special, I think, for us anymore to come here.
Whereas 10 years ago, there weren't as many tourists here.
Where have you been? You've been around, traveling around so many
We've been
places.
to Tokyo, Kyoto, Nara. This is my first time in Osaka. And tomorrow we're going to Kobe. That'll be my first time there. And we were in Ishigaki in Okinawa. That's all I've seen. He's seen more.
I've been to Hokkaido, Omori, Saitama.
And we also went to Hiroshima and Miyajima.
Is there like a memorable, like a best memory or a good memory in Japan?
I mean, the first visit was very memorable because it was all so foreign to me. You know, the culture is different, the buildings are different. So the first trip, especially to Kyoto, was very memorable because it's just so beautiful and so unique.
Compared to your country?
Yeah.
I think you really feel the difference in the culture in a place like Kyoto, which has a lot of the Japanese cultural elements and temples and some of the older kind of city feel versus Tokyo, which is a much larger city, and Osaka as well. It's just another metropolitan city in the world. It's not that special, but you feel the kind of traditional values and traditional history of Japan when you go to somewhere like Nara or Kyoto.
But Tokyo is so, like, it's one of the most populated cities in the world. And it's so clean and so well run and so quiet. It's so different than other major cities in the world.
Have you ever been to other Asian countries?
We've been to Thailand and Bali, and
But short stay in China as well.
and that's all. Yeah.
Comparing with those countries, Japan is still like different in some ways.
100%. Yeah. It's completely different. It is cleaner and more well organized and just feels safer than some of the other places we've visited.
And I think respect for everybody around you is a very important cultural concept for the Japanese people. So I think that's reflected in, for example, on the subway system, everyone lines up at the trains. There's a lot more order generally in how people conduct their lives. And I think there's also a lot of consideration for how your life and what you do affects the people around you. So there's a lot more consideration from that perspective as well.
Like a simple example of that is litter. People don't litter. You take your garbage home with you. Whereas in other parts of the world, When I'm finished with my coffee cup, I just drop it on the ground. So it's much more respectful here for everybody.
I see. How about in a business environment?
Yeah, I think some of the biggest differences between Japan and some of the other companies is that there's a lot more hierarchy in terms of your ability to contribute as a junior member of the team. I think is much more difficult, and everything has to go past through your senpai and through your seniors before it can kind of get promoted through to your clients or to the rest of the team. Whereas in Canadian or American companies, I think it's much easier to exchange information between team members, and you don't have to worry as much about kind of the difference in terms of how long someone's been working there, how much more senior they are than you, which I think is a bit of a negative for progress in Japanese companies.
So do you think it is easier to work in Japan or harder to work in Japan?
Oh, I think my experience is different than a Japanese person, is that I bring in cultural values from outside of Japan and I get to share those in my company. And I'm not expected to work as a Japanese person, but rather bring in some experience from outside of Japan. So I have to balance both working in a Japanese environment, but also continue to kind of emphasize the value that I have not being Japanese, and trying to kind of share that working style with other people. When I see my Japanese coworkers working, I feel like it's very difficult for them to express themselves and maybe grow at a rate that you would see in some of the foreign companies. So I think that's kind of unfortunate, but I think my experience has been positive for the most part.
And how about the more then food culture? Do you like Japanese food?
We love it.
We do, yeah.
It's one of the main reasons we come to Japan is we love the food so much.
Okay. What do you like the best?
The sushi is amazing. I love your tempura. I mean, and the number of excellent Michelin-starred restaurants you have in Japan too is amazing, and the value is so much better than going to a Michelin-starred restaurant in other parts of the world. So I mean, all of your food is amazing. The best pizza I've had is in Japan. Everything is great. Yeah.
I see. How about you?
Well, I think what's nice about the Japanese culture and how Japanese people operate is they put as much effort they can into everything. So even a cheap place, like a cheap ramen place or a cheap kind of tonkatsu place, I think would have the same effort and kind of thought put into making the food as an expensive place as well. So no matter where you go, you can kind of expect some level of quality. Whereas in North America and some other places, I think the cheaper you go on the quality scale or on the price scale is also reflected in the quality of the food and the experience. And I think also the relationship you have with the people that work at the restaurants is very different in Japan, as well as I think that you always get respect from the people that work in the food industry in Japan, whereas you might get ignored or some bad experiences in the U.S., for example.
What do you think about the non-tip kind of the system in Japan?
Well, I feel,
no tipping.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I feel almost bad because the workers at these stores are doing such good work, and they're doing such a great job, and I want to reward them for that hard work, but unfortunately I'm not able to do so. But I think it's maybe reflected in their hourly wages, whereas in the U.S. and in other parts of North America, tipping is expected regardless of the quality of the service, and I think that you're basically subsidizing their salaries, which is an unfortunate thing to pass on to the consumer rather than having the shop themselves pay for that.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It was very interesting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was interesting for us too. Thank you.